In today's video, we are going to be fixing a PS4 that I got specifically to fix for a friend of mine who hasn't had a PS4 for a very long time. My guest star of today's video and tomorrow's video as well. So tomorrow's will be a fixing video or a refurbishing video. This was actually a pretty easy fix. It was just difficult to figure out what exactly was wrong. So let's dive right into this. You guys are probably gonna have quite the laugh at my expense. Not everything got recorded because there was quite a bit of footage that actually disappeared on my computer. Like, quite a bit of my footage of mine just is gone. It went missing. I don't know where it is. I don't know. So we're gonna go right into it and go through it. There will be some voiceovers during the parts that I feel like explaining, so let's just jump right in. So let's check the eject button. Okay. This is the part at which I feel really silly, because I thought that this was totally fixed. All I needed to do was just clean it out. It was fine, but it actually wasn't fine. What was actually the problem, which you won't be able to see in the video because I lost the footage, the fan was not working at all. So the system was just constantly overheating. And it took me a few times before I actually realized this. But everything else with the system worked just fine. So I ended up putting it all back together. As you can see here, it's running, but there's the fan is completely still. You know, that was basically how I realized that the fan was what was wrong. There was no sound coming from the PS4, while there's sound from my PS4 Pro. Even if I'm just opening up a menu, there's some sound from the fan. So I had to order that from Aliexpress and wait for it to come, and that took about a month for it to come from this moment. And when it finally came, that was really important. And also, you can't see the original breakdown video, but during the original breakdown video, that I discovered that the thermal pads on the different capacitors, there were only half the amount of thermal pads needed, and that was really bad. That's a really bad situation. That was another reason why I was overheating so fast. So I put it back together. I divided those in half, and I was like, yeah, this is great. And then I realized, oh, okay, well, if I'm buying the fan, I might as well buy new thermal pads. And that's what came in the mail after some time. Well, it has been about a month or so since we last tried to do this. But in the mail yesterday came, Cat, what you doing? Just photobombing me. In the mail, the thermal pads came, and today, this beauty came. So hopefully, I didn't get scammed, and it's the right fan, and this will go in here, and it'll work just fine. Worst case scenario, there's something wrong with the motherboard, but I don't think that's the case, because everything else seems just fine. So let's go back in this, and open it up, and try to fix this. So, to take this apart, I will be using my lovely Aliexpress tweezers and the handy dandy Xiaomi toolkit. I really love this kit. It's just really sleek and it feels really premium, and I love this. So getting into this breakdown of the PS4, I got this PS4. I'll just tell you about the whole story while I take it apart. I got this PS4 from Akko. I was actually going to order it on eBay initially, but it was going to take so long and it was going to be so expensive. It actually turned out to be a lot easier to get broken PS4s inside of Israel in the north, because so many people in the Middle East don't realize how easy it is to fix these. you know, coincidentally. They don't realize how many tutorials there are out there to fix it, and for a lot of people, you know, it's so hard for a lot of people. They don't have the patience to wait for different, you know, parts to fix it. They just buy a new one. Like the guy that sold me this PS4, he was going to buy a PS5 in a few months, and he didn't use it because he didn't know what was wrong with it. He didn't know how to fix it. I was actually really surprised. I'm sure that they actually took this apart before, because he said he brought it to a repair shop and he said that they tried to fix it, but it was unfixable. When I opened it up, when I brought it home, because on the ad on Yad Shayim, which was basically like Israeli Craigslist, on the ad it basically just said that it was overheating, and I was like, okay, that's an easy enough fix. That shouldn't be too hard to mend. I've seen a lot of videos from Tronics Fix and, you know, Spawn Wave that talk about that. I think I'm gonna take a crack at it. I'm gonna give it a try, you know. And then when I brought it home, I was figuring, okay, it's probably just dirty. Because I know a lot of people in Israel that actually don't open up their systems like this. None of my friends open up their systems like this and clean them. Unless it's their PC, they don't open it up and clean the dust out of it. You know, they'll clean around it, but they won't clean inside of it. And Israel is a dusty place. There is some dust, there is some sand. It is not a fun picnic. As you can see in the video right here, I'm just trying to pry up the battery, but I didn't want to break it, so I had to look up what to do real quick, and then I mimic. Basically, you just have to pull directly up, but you have to be careful because it's connected on the edge, right there where my left hand is, on the right of the screen. That's like where it's connected by these two, like, socket plugs. So you have to be careful with that. You could just pull straight up. It shouldn't be a problem. I really should have disconnected it before I started pulling, but it was fine. So yeah, I brought it home, and I was expecting, like, a lot of dust, possibly even roaches the first time I opened it, because, you know, it's Israel, and it was completely clean. It was as clean as it is right now, as you're seeing in the video. Completely cleaned out, no issues. And I was like, huh, that's really weird. And then I got down to the thermal pads, and I noticed half of them were missing. And I was like, oh, that must have been the problem. So I took the half that were there, I cut them in half, which is an awful idea. It's okay, it's a temporary fix, I guess, but it's like really not a good idea to run your PS4 with half the amount of thermal pads you need on all capacitors. So I put those back on top of it, and I just hoped that I could figure out what was going on. And right there with the camera phone, with the, you know, the light, I was just checking to see down the little exhaust if there was a lot of dust, just in case. There wasn't any dust down there. It was fine. But yeah, pretty much, as you saw earlier in the video, I set it up, I thought it was, oh, it's all fixed, and then it started having the white light of death, and I didn't know why, and I was like, okay, I took it apart, I fixed the power supply, because I put it back in wrong, and then I put it back together, everything seemed fine, and then it said system overheating, still, and I was like, well, what's going on? I put the thermal pads on, maybe I need proper thermal pads, and then I realized there was no sound coming out of this fan. There was no sound of the motor of the fan. The only sound I heard was from the CD drive, and I was like, that is not normal. Because I know that the PS4 is loud. I know for a fact that the PS4 is loud, because all of my friends that have PS4s have always complained about how loud they were. They were like, Ariel, it's like an Xbox 360 is in my room. There's a jet engine next to my computer. And I have the PS4 Pro, which is supposed to be slightly quieter than the regular PS4. And my PS4 Pro gets pretty loud next to my computer whenever I start playing any games. Whenever I load up a game, you know, the fan runs. I figured that was a problem. That was the problem. I figured that out. And I ordered a new fan from Aliexpress, and I ordered thermal pads from Aliexpress, and they came on the same, like, within the same week they came. Not the same week that I ordered. It took about a month for them to get here, but they both came within a week of each other, which was really awesome. And yeah, that was pretty much the story of this whole thing. The reason why I decided to get my friend Cameron a PS4 is because for the longest time, the only console Cameron has had has been the Switch. All of our friends have PS4s or PS3s, and they all play Persona 5 and Kingdom Hearts, and Cameron's always wanted to play them, but Cameron can't come up to my apartment every single week, so I just, I figured it's time. Like, I can do this, and I want a project to work on, so this is what I'm going to do. I also happened to... I'd been planning on doing this for a little while. I started planning on doing this from, like, my birthday, pretty much. Cameron's birthday is in December. My birthday is in September. And I thought about getting Cameron a PS4 because I was like, I really, really want to get Cameron a PS4. Because I feel like Cameron needs to play these games that I really like. But I didn't want to spend, you know, 1,000 shekels on a PS4. You know, it's the last generation console. I don't want to spend that much money on it. Even now, I don't want to spend a lot of money on an Xbox. I'm looking for an Xbox 360. Preferably broken, so I have something to work on to have some content, but I really don't want to spend more than, like, $20 on an Xbox 360. It's very difficult because, contrary to what I believed previously, the 360 had a really long game shelf life. Like, they were still producing games for the 360 in 2019. That was after I made Aliyah to Israel. It's insane. But yeah. Highly recommend checking out iFixit and Tronix Fix if you wanted to take apart your PS4 to do anything, to replace anything, because that's pretty much what I followed. Those two channels are pretty much what I followed to go through this PS4 and replace the fan and make sure everything was squared away. Before I did this, the only other console I'd ever taken apart before was, like, my Game Boy SP when I was, like, 9. After I broke it. By trying to take it apart, coincidentally. And my PS2. Well, my brother's PS2 when I was 8, we fixed the laser. But I think that was really just me watching my brother fix it. Like, I feel like I helped a little bit, but I really can't remember it all that well because I wasn't paying that much attention. I really have more experience with taking apart, like, computers and stuff and doing stuff like that. Not systems. So this is the first time I actually really got a system that was specifically broken. Like, it wasn't mine that broke. Because I've had systems that have broken in the past and I just fix it myself because I'm not going to pay for a new one. I'll just fix it. I grew up with people that lived through the Great Depression. You don't throw stuff away if you can fix it. So, like, this is the first time I've ever bought a console that was specifically broken in order to fix it, and I think this might be the right route that I go through from now on if I want to get a different console. Because I almost never buy consoles new when they first come out. Even with the Nintendo Switch. I didn't buy a Nintendo Switch until over a year after it was launched. And when I bought the Nintendo Switch, I didn't buy it firsthand. A friend of mine wanted to buy a Switch. And they wanted to buy it just to play Breath of the Wild. They already played it on the Wii U, but they wanted to play it on the Switch. And I was like, I have an idea. Buy it for the Switch. And if you include the game, I'll buy the Switch from you for the same price you bought it. Because this friend happens to be someone that takes impeccable care of their consoles, their items. They're very, very conscientious with all of their items, their technological stuff. So we made the deal and I got the Switch, but it was like over a year and a half after it had come out, and I really got the Switch mainly for Super Smash Bros. And Splatoon 2. Those were the two games I really got the Switch for. I didn't really start bulking up my library for a good year or two. It was like 2 years before I actually started buying other games for the Switch after Smash and Splatoon 2, because those are all I played. But yeah, I'm definitely not going to be looking immediately at untouched, new, still in the box systems, because I'm not really that type of collector. I'm really more of like, I want to have the stuff here. I would like to have something that's in semi-original condition, like it still has all the, it's not modded and stuff. And I'd like to have one that's modded AF, so I could do whatever I want on it. I could mess around with it. I could do some fun things on it, make content with it. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing this for the future. When I look into other types of, you know, items that I want, I'm definitely going to be looking for a broken system and then fixing it myself, because it not only gives me this content for you guys, it's also so much cheaper. If I had bought a new PS4, it could have cost me the same as what the stock price on a PS5 is, just because it's so, like, it's so relevant still today. You know? It's still such a relevant console. Oh, this is the first video. Maybe this isn't the first video. I don't think this is the first video. But as you can see, there's definitely not enough thermal padding on there. Let me see. This will tell me if it'll... This will tell me what I need to know. What I do with this thermal paste next. Yeah, I put it on the thing. It's not the first video. This is the... I thought maybe I found the video of me opening up the PS4 the first time by accident, but I didn't. This is the video where I put in the new thermal pads, and I replaced the thermal paste, and I put in the new fan. And yeah. Big part of this build was literally just looking for screws that I could just unscrew, and occasionally referencing the video. Taking this apart was incredibly easy. The hard thing was just remembering where everything went to put it back together, like every single thing. But for the most part, it was pretty intuitive. A lot of people I know are really scared of getting a broken PS4 and doing this type of thing, because they're like, oh no, what if it's the blue light of death? I think, you know, I think it's still worth it. I know it can be a pain, but you can get a resoldering thing for the, I think it's the CPU, but I'm not sure, because I'm not really that technological. I'm not that apt with technology. Kind of inept, but like, you can get one of those online for not too much, and if you have solder, like, you can get solder beads to re-bead the chips. It just takes a little bit of time and commitment, but it's interesting, and I think it's worth it for anybody that's interested in this type of hobby of fixing older systems, of collecting. I think it's a good thing to have, you know. It's kind of like, there are two types of people. There are people that have really old cars, just to collect the old car, and then there are the people that have old cars that work because they fixed them, you know. I like to have older cars that work in this, you know, example. What you're seeing, the thermal paste you're seeing is actually thermal paste I put on last time. I actually don't know if you can just put it right back and you don't have to worry about taking off the thermal paste or putting it back on. I don't know if you could just slap it back on like it's hot, or if you have to replace it. So I think I just replaced it, because I have a whole syringe of this stuff, and I'm not using it for anything else right now. I'm gonna have to buy more. I actually got this thermal paste from a local computer store. This is the Arctic MX4 thermal compound. And I have always had good experience with this compound. when it comes to my computer, which runs like a beast. So yeah, that was a thing. I'm gonna be quiet now. I'm gonna shut my trap and let you enjoy the rest of the video. But that is basically the backstory. I'm very happy that we were able to do what we did with this PS4. It was actually really, really lovely. And yeah. If you guys like this kind of content, please let me know down below if there's anything specific, if there's any type of system specifically that you would like me to try to get a broken one of and fix it or mod. Please let me know, because I am always itching for ideas on what people are just in watching. But yeah, this was a really, really fun video to make. It took about a month to keep me busy. It kept me looking at different types of PS4 fixing videos, which is always really nice and informative. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and if you want to see more of me and hear my annoying voice, you can always subscribe. I'll let you get back to the beats. I'll let you go back to the beats. Happy birthday.
Hello? Thank you. I'm in a movie theater right now.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay, I just saw Spider-Man.
Oh, no spoilers, please.
I'm waiting for the post-credits scene.
Okay, okay.
Waiting for the post-credits scene.
So I feel less bad. So I was wondering, when's the next time,
What did you have to say to me?
when's the next time, you're thinking maybe you would come to Haifa, maybe like this weekend? To visit your dear old grandmother and possibly...
Do you want me to come this weekend?
Yes. I would love for you to come this weekend.
I'll see if I can come this weekend.
Because
I'll let you know.
I have a surprise for you.
Okay. Okay, I'll check if I can come this weekend. I'll let you know.
Alright, let me know. Cameron, I'd like you to turn around. I'd like you to follow me. I'd like you to follow me. Cameron. Cameron.
Is this mine?
This is yours.
Yo!
This is yours.
Holy shit.
It's not hacked because the person updated it to 9.03, but this is yours, and there is a controller that I have for you that looks like an Animal Crossing controller.
I must see this immediately.
It's a knockoff controller,
I don't...
but it's really comfortable and it feels almost exactly the same as a normal PS4 controller.
Oh my god. I have a PS4.
Yes. I just wanted to videotape this just for the end of the video of me fixing this thing.
I'm so happy. Oh my god.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah.
This is better than all of those combined.
And I'm also going to lend you, because it's not hacked, because I can't hack it, I'm going to lend you Kingdom Hearts Story Thus Far and Persona 5 Royale until I can hack your PS4.
Whoa.
Are you happy?
Oh my god.
Are you a happy person, Cameron?
I'm over the moon.
Are you ready to go get eggs now? Okay, let's go get eggs. The beauty. The beauty of New Year's Day. This is the only way to do New Year's Day.